Hi y'all, it's Mel and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'll walk you through the process of filling out the form I-129F or Petition for Alien Fiance. Before we start filling out the form, I'd just like to remind you guys that I'm not an immigration lawyer or expert, and the things that I'm about to share is based on my personal experience. For case-specific concerns, please consult an immigration lawyer or expert. Also, for safety purposes, all the information that I supplied in the form is for illustration purposes only. Alright, so where can we download the I-129F form? So, you just type uscis.gov and it will direct you to this website, and then click in the search box USCIS forms and then click all forms. So in this page, you can either filter it by these categories, so either forms, adoptions-based forms, citizenship and naturalization-based forms, employment-based forms, or family-based forms. So if you're not sure what type of form you are looking for, you can just type here I-129F and then click search. And there you go. Here's your I-129F petition for alien fiance. Okay, so use this form to petition to bring your fiance, K1, and their children, K2, to the US so you may marry your fiance or spouse and their children to the US to await the approval of a form I-130 filed on behalf of your spouse. Okay, so in this page you will find the form, the instructions, and other details about the form like the addition date, where to file, the filing fee, checklist of required initial evidence, form filing tips, special instructions, and related links. Okay, so let's proceed with the filling out of the form. So let's just click this one here. And there you go, there's your form I-129F petition for alien fiance. So in order to fill out this form, you need to download this. So click this arrow right here. And then you're now ready to fill out your form I-129F. Alright, so make sure that you've downloaded the latest version of the form. So here you can check the expiration of this form. So it says here it expires on March 31st, 2027. Okay, so we are now ready to fill out the form. So make sure that you've read the instructions and be careful and take your time in filling out the form. Okay, so let's start. Just leave this portion blank. So you start here. It says type or print in black ink. So part 1, information about you. This is the information about the petitioner, who is the filer of this form. Okay, so again, the information about you is all about the petitioner's information. Okay, so alien registration number, if any. So if there's no alien registration number, just type NA. USCIS online account number. If you don't have USCIS online account number, just put NA. US social security number, if any. So indicate the social security number of the petitioner. Select one box below to indicate the classification you are requesting for your beneficiary. So we are filing for K1 visa. If you are filing to classify your spouse as a K3, have you filed form I-130? So click the box that is applicable for you. So for my case, I click no. full name. So this is the full name of the petitioner. So indicate the family name, given name, and middle name. And then other names used, provide all other names you have ever used, including aliases, maiden name, and nicknames. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, additional information. So again, indicate the family name, given name, and then the middle initial. Your mailing address of the petitioner. In care of name, if there's any, or if there's none, just type NA. Take note that you should not leave any item blank. So if you don't have any answer for that item, or if it's not applicable for your case, just type NA. Okay, so street number and name, apartment, suite, or floor, just type NA if it's not applicable. City or town, indicate the city where the beneficiary lives, what state he lives, zip code, province, postal code, country, and then is your current mailing address the same as your physical address? So if it's the same, click yes. If it's no, if you answered no, provide your physical address in item number 9A to 9H. So your address history, provide your physical addresses for the last 5 years, whether inside or outside the United States. Provide your current address first if it is different from your mailing address. In items number 8A to 8I. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, additional information. So physical address 1. So since I clicked yes, this is my mailing and physical address, so I don't have to fill out this portion here. So I'll just indicate NA or not applicable. But if your mailing address is different from your physical address, just type all the information as needed here in this section. And then here, physical address 2. Again, if it's not applicable, just type NA. And then next portion is your employment history of the beneficiary. Provide your employment history for the last 5 years. This is your employment history of the petitioner. Again, employment history of the petitioner. Provide your employment history for the last 5 years, whether inside or outside the United States. Provide your current employment first. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, additional information. So employer 1, number 13, full name of employers, indicate the employer of the petitioner, the street number and name, city or town, the state, zip code, province, postal code, the country, your occupation, employment start date. Okay, so I think this is United States. Okay, so that's not NA. And then employment start date, make sure to follow the format for the date. So month, date, and year. Then employment end date. So write present if this is your current employer. Then employer number 2, indicate your employer number 2 details here. But if you don't have any other employers aside from your current employer, just put NA in this section. Okay. Other information. So other information of the petitioner. So male, click male if male, female if female, then date of birth. Again, follow the date format, marital status, city, town, village of birth, province or state of birth, and country of birth. So this is indicated in your petitioner's birth certificate. Information about the parents of the petitioner. So indicate, for parent one's information, indicate the family name, the given name, middle name, the date of birth, and sex. Then indicate the country of birth, the city, town, village of residence, and country of residence. So that's for parent one's information. For parent two's information, indicate the same information, family name, given name, middle name, date of birth, the sex, country of birth, city, town, village of residence, country of residence, and then have you ever been previously married? I'll click no. If yes, then just click yes. So if you answered yes to item number 37, provide the names of each spouse and the date that each prior marriage ended in item numbers 38A to 39. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8 additional information. So name of previous spouse. So since I've never been married, I just type NA for this section here. So your citizenship information. You are a citizen through, select only one box. So my petitioner was a U.S. citizen through birth in the United States. So have you obtained a certificate of naturalization or a certificate of citizenship in your own name? I click no, so because he got his citizenship through birth in the US. If you answered yes to item number 41, complete item numbers 42A to 42C. So 42A is asking for the certificate number of the certificate of naturalization or certificate of citizenship. So since I click no, I just typed NA in this portion. So place of issuance and date of issuance. Additional information. Have you ever filed Form I-129F for any other beneficiary? I click no. If you answered yes to item number 43, provide the responses to item numbers 44 to 46 for each previous beneficiary. If you need to provide information for more than one beneficiary, use the space provided in Part 8 additional information. So since I click no, I just put NA in this section. But if you click yes, just supply the information needed in this section. So what are the information needed in this section? The A number, family name, given name, middle name, date of filing, what action did USCIS take on Form I-129F? So for example, if it was approved, denied, or revoked. Do you have any children under 18 years of age? I click no. If you answered yes to item number 48, provide the ages for your children under 18 years of age in item numbers 49A to 49B. Provide the ages for your children under 18 years of age. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, additional information. So since my petitioner has no children, so I just put here NA. Provide all U.S. states and foreign countries in which you have resided since your 18th birthday. So state, country, and then that's for residence 1. For residence 2, you indicate the same, what state and what country. Part 2 is all about the information about your beneficiary. Okay, so in this section, you have to indicate the family name, given name, middle name, A number if any. A number is alien number. U.S. Social Security number if any. Then date of birth. Again, don't forget the format, the sex, the marital status, the city, town, village of birth, country of birth, country of citizenship, or nationality. Other names used. Provide all other names you have ever used, including aliases, maiden name, and nicknames. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, Additional Information. So, again, the family name, given name, and the middle initial. Since in the previous box, we indicated the complete middle name, so in this section, we just indicated the middle initial. Okay. Continuation about information about your beneficiary, mailing address for your beneficiary, in care of name if there's any. If none, just type NA. Then indicate your beneficiary street number and name, apartment, suite or floor, city or town, what state, then zip code, province, postal code, and country. Your beneficiary's address history. Provide your beneficiary's physical addresses for the last 5 years, whether inside or outside the United States. Provide your beneficiary's current address first if it is different from the mailing address in item numbers 11A to 11I. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, Additional Information. Beneficiary's physical address 1. So since the beneficiary's mailing address and physical address are the same, we just left this blank here. But if not, if you just supply the needed information. So street number, apartment, suite or floor, city or town, state or zip code, province, postal code, country, date from, and date to. Again, for the physical address 2, just supply the needed information. Your beneficiary's employment history. Provide your employment history for the last 5 years, whether inside or outside the United States. Provide your current employment first. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, Additional Information. So, beneficiary's employer 1. Indicate the full name of the employer, the street number and name, city or town, state if applicable, the zip code, province, postal code, the country, beneficiary's occupation, so specify the occupation, employment start date, and employment end date. Next is about the beneficiary's employer number 2 if your beneficiary has other employers apart from his current employer. So if none, just type NA. Okay. So if your beneficiary has other previous employers, supply the needed information in this section. Okay. Information about your beneficiary's parents. So parent wants information. You type here the family name, given name, middle name, the date of birth, and sex, country of birth, city, town, village of residence, country of residence. So that's for parent wants information. Parent 2, again, supply the family name, given name, middle name, date of birth, the sex, country of birth, city, town, village of residence, and country of residence. Other information about your beneficiary. Has your beneficiary ever been previously married? So we type no. If you answered yes to item number 34, provide the names of each prior spouse and the date each prior marriage ended in item numbers 35 to 36. If you need to provide information for more than one spouse, use the space provided in Part 8, Additional Information. So here, the form is asking for the names of the previous spouse. So indicate the family name, given name, middle name, date marriage ended, Has your beneficiary ever been in the United States? Okay. So 35 to 36, just supply the the needed information. So 37, has your beneficiary ever been in the United States? Our answer is no. If your beneficiary is currently in the US, complete item numbers 38A to 38H. So 38H, he or she last entered as just type if your beneficiary was a visitor, student, exchange alien, crewman, stowaway, temporary worker, or without inspection. So just indicate that information over here. Then I-94 arrival, departure record, then date of arrival. Then continuation, date authorized stay expired or will expire as shown on Form I-94 or I-95. Then indicate your beneficiary's passport number, the travel document number, country of issuance for passport or travel document, expiration date for passport or travel document. Then next is, does your beneficiary have any children? So we answered no. If you answered yes to item number 39, provide the following information about each child. If you need to provide information for more than one child, use the space provided in Part 8, additional information. So if your beneficiary has children, put the names or the information needed in this section. So does this child reside with your beneficiary? We just click no. If the child does not reside with your beneficiary, provide the child's physical residence. So supply the needed information for the address where your child is residing currently. Okay. Next is address in the United States where your beneficiary intends to live. So what we wrote here, or what we type here, is the address of the petitioner. So indicate the street number and name, city or town, state, zip code, daytime telephone number. So this is basically the information of my petitioner. It's the where he lives and his phone number. Your beneficiary's physical address abroad. So this is the physical address in the Philippines. So street number and name, city or town, province, postal code, country, and daytime telephone number. Your beneficiary's name and address in his or her native alphabet. So since we are using the English alphabet, you don't have any native alphabet, we just indicate here NA. Okay, information. So this is just a continuation. Is your fiance related to you? So we click no. Provide the nature and degree of relationship. So for example, if your beneficiary is your third cousin or maternal uncle or whatever, just indicate your answer here. Have you and your fiance met in person during the 2 years immediately before filing this petition? So we clicked yes. If you answered yes to item number 53, describe the circumstances of your in-person meeting in item number 54. Attach evidence to demonstrate that you were in each other's physical presence during the required 2-year period. If you answered no, explain your reasons for requesting an exemption from the in-person meeting requirement in item number 54 and provide evidence that should be exempt from this requirement. Refer to Part 2, item numbers 53 to 54 of the specific instructions section of the instructions for additional information about the requirement to meet. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, additional information. So 54, we just indicated the circumstances of our in-person meeting. So we indicate here that I visited my fiance in her home country, the Philippines, on January 1st, 2025. International Marriage Broker or IMB information. Did you meet your beneficiary through services of an IMB? So we click no. If you answered yes to item number 55, provide the IMB's contact information and website information below. In addition, attach a copy of the signed written consent form The IMB obtained from your beneficiary authorizing your beneficiary's personal contact information to be released by you. So indicate the IMB's name, family name of IMB, and given name of IMB, if applicable. Organization name of IMB, website, street number, the address, city or town, province, postal code, country, and daytime telephone numbers. So since we don't have any IMB, we didn't use an IMB, we just indicated NA or not applicable. Consular processing information. Your beneficiary will apply for a visa abroad at the U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate at Manila, Philippines. So just indicate the which U.S. Embassy or consulate your beneficiary will apply for a visa. Other information, criminal information. So these criminal information questions must be answered even if your records were sealed, cleared, or if anyone, including a judge, law enforcement officer, or attorney, told you that you no longer have a record. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, Additional Information. So have you ever been subject to a temporary or permanent protection or restraining order, either civil or criminal? We click no. Have you ever been arrested or convicted of any of the following crimes? Domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, child neglect, and so on. So we click here no. Again, homicide, murder, manslaughter, rape, and so on. We click no. 3 or more arrests or convictions not from a single act of crimes. Click no. Note, if you were ever arrested or convicted of any of the specified crimes, you must submit certified copies of all court and police records showing the charges and disposition for every arrest or conviction. You must do so even if your records were sealed, expunged, or otherwise cleared, and regardless of whether anyone, including a judge, law enforcement officer, or attorney, informed you that you no longer have a criminal record. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, Additional Information. So if you have provided information about the conviction for a crime listed in item numbers 2A to 2C, and you are being battered or subjected to extreme cruelty at the time of your conviction, select all the following that apply to you. So since these items doesn't apply to my petitioner, so we just left this blank. Have you ever been arrested, cited, charged, indicted, convicted, fined, or imprisoned for breaking or violating any law or ordinance in any country, excluding traffic violations? We click no. If the answer to item number 4A is yes, provide information about each of those arrests, citations, charges, indictments, convictions, fines, or imprisonments in the space below. So if you were the subject of an order of petition or restraining order and believe you are the victim, please explain those circumstances and provide any evidence to support your claims. Include the dates and outcomes. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8, Additional Information. Okay, multiple filer waiver request information. Refer to Part 3, Types of Waivers, in the specific instructions section of the instructions for an explanation of the filing waivers. So since we did not use any type of waiver, we just left this blank. Then Part 4, Biographic Information. So this is for the petitioner. Ethnicity. Select that the box that applies to you. The race. The height, so there's a drop down here for the feet and inches, the weight, eye color, hair color. Okay, next is Part 5, Petitioner's Contact Information, Certification, and Signature. Petitioner's Contact Information. Provide your daytime telephone number, mobile telephone number, and email address. So provide the needed information in these boxes. Petitioner's certification and signature. I certify under penalty of perjury that I provided or authorized all of the responses and information contained in and submitted with my petition. I read and understand, or, if interpreted to me in a language in which I am fluent by the interpreter listed in Part 6, understood all of the responses and information contained in and submitted with my petition, and that all of the responses and the information are complete, true, and correct. Furthermore, I authorize the release of any information from any and all of my records that USCIS may need to determine my eligibility for an immigration request and to other entities and persons where necessary for the administration and enforcement of U.S. immigration law. So, after typing all of your answers here in this form, make sure to sign this part here. So we need you need to have your wet signature, not scanned or whatsoever. You have to sign it personally in this box. So indicate the date when you signed the this form. Then Part 6, interpreter's contact information, certification, and signature. So if you hired any interpreter, indicate here, supply the information about your interpreter. Since we didn't use any interpreter, we just indicated here NA. Then contact information of your interpreter, interpreter certification and signature. And then Part 7, contact information, declaration, and signature of the person preparing this petition, if other than petitioner. So if, for example, you hired a lawyer to fill out this form, he or she should supply their information in this section, as well as their contact information. Then prepare certification and signature. So if your lawyer filled out this form, they have to sign in this section, and the date. They have to indicate the date when they sign the form. Okay. So Part 8, additional information. So if you need extra space to provide any additional information within this petition, use this space below. If you need more space than what is provided, you may make copies of this page to complete and file with this petition or attach a separate sheet of paper. Type or print your name and a number, if any, at the top of each sheet. Indicate the page number, part number, and item number to which your answer refers, and sign and date each sheet. Okay, so indicate the petitioner's family name, given name, middle name. And if you don't have any other information that you can add, just type NA. Okay. So that's it. There you go, guys. That's your Form I-129F petition for alien fiance. So I hope you learned something. I hope I was able to help you if you are planning to just do your DIY. I hope that this video helped you, and you might also want to check out my playlist about K1 visa and adjustment of status. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on my next one. God bless.